Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It's Thursday, February 16th. Shout out our guy Keaton in the chat. Look at that. He says, hurry up, T-Bob. Best part of the day right here. Hell yeah, Keaton, man. I'm glad you enjoy it because you know what? I know me and Aaron Murray enjoy getting to do Snaps. And let me welcome in my beautiful co-host who some people say his AirPods don't fully fit. Aaron, what's going on, dude? How you doing today?
Really not? Is there an issue with the AirPods? Is there?
I
My
don't.
ears too small.
I don't know. I don't know why it feels like it's jumping off the page to me today, but the AirPods feel especially big. But then again, my God, I'm really looking at you. You have one of the most symmetrical faces I've ever seen. I think it's probably one of the reasons why you're so good looking. Did you ever know that? How
Is
human
it really?
beings our brains are like, I don't know. I mean, let's be clear. I am like pulling from early internet stuff that I feel like I read about Elizabeth Hurley, maybe on like crack.com around like 2007.
You sure it wasn't E-Bomb's world there, T-Bob?
I mean, it could have been, but I feel like I remember hearing that human beings, like, we naturally love symmetry. And that's like when a person's face is kind of beautiful. So what's up?
I feel like yours is pretty on point with everything going on.
There's a lot. That was like the least convincing. Everything going on.
Face. I just want to squeeze it. Just
see. Look, that's how a quarterback. That's how you know a quarterback loves his O lineman. He knows how to just appeal to him. You just treat him like a big cuddly teddy bear, but you call him like hot and sexy. And you make him feel good. Just juice him up a little bit, dude. And then you protect
you know some of my own line stories of how I took care of my boys back in the day.
I know. Yes, no, you are a legend. That is very true.
I take care of the boys.
Now it kind of sounds like you were jerking them all off a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's dive into today's snaps. It's Thursday, guys. It's almost the weekend. We're all feeling very happy. Leave for Disney in a couple days. Real quick, schedule next week. No show Monday, as it is President's Day. We will record something with me early morning to release on Tuesday, and then I'm driving on Wednesday, so we may have to wait till Thursday to be back. But so we will have a couple of shows out next week for sure. Today's show, we got a couple things to talk about. We got to talk about some of the Pac12 TV news, or kind of lack thereof in many ways. And then we are going to draft the top 10 SEC rivalries. And it's a fun exercise because, well, not only do you get to talk about games that you really like, but you also get to maybe get an idea of like, okay, do you need the 3 permanent opponent thing? Like, do enough of these rivalries matter? So we'll see what we end up thinking by the end of the show. Aaron, so the Pac-12 reportedly is in a bit of dire straits, at least when it comes to courting a television partner. Word on the street is that ESPN and Fox are not in a buying mood anymore, right? And look, I listen to a lot of stuff like video game industries, like other industries. Like, it seems like a lot of stuff is shrinking right now, right? You see people being laid off. I mean, hell, at Disney, right? 7,000 people or whatever just got laid off. And so you have a situation where reportedly Fox and ESPN aren't really in a buying mood for any major rights deals right now. Amazon's looking at the Pac-12 and they're saying, we like some of your games, but we don't want the whole Pac-12 network. And then there's kind of Apple sitting there like, okay, we may be interested, but then, Apple is not as much reach as these other places. And the bottom line, it looks like the Pac-12 may have overplayed their hand a bit, Aaron, as I don't know how they find a suitor that can help them keep up with the other Power 5 conferences. Like maybe not even the Big 12 after this is all said and done, much less trying to keep up, which is impossible, with like the SEC and the Big 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're not in a good position right now, and not surprised at all by this. Just when you see the deals that the Big 10 got, you see the big deal that the SEC got, the Big 12 kind of scooped in there and got their deal done before the Pac-12. That was the race. Like which one of those two conferences after the two big boys was going to get the next big deal? The Big 12 kind of, took charge of that. And then the addition of 4 more teams with the loss of Texas and Oklahoma, a lot more juice and ability to go out there and get a deal from ESPN and et cetera, et cetera. So Pac-12's in trouble, man. I said it last summer. You and I have talked about this before. It's when you lose USC and UCLA, and I know LA is unique, and do they love football? Do they not? And that's the big money driver. It's still a major market. It's the biggest market out there in the Pac-12. You lose both those teams to the Big Ten. There's just not a lot of excitement. And also the big problem with the Pac-12 for these TV networks. I mean, the late night game is interesting because if you're a network, say ESPN, you can do a noon, 3:30, 7, and 10. You kind of hit all of them. But it's still like everything's so far pushed back that it's kind of, is it worth it for the Pac-12? Is it worth it for the TV networks to try to scoop that up? So I think the interesting point now comes to be teams like Oregon, Washington, Stanford. Do you want to stick around? Yeah. The path to success and the path to the playoffs is there. Like if you win the Pac-12, you're in. With expanded playoffs, you're in. But you're also going to be losing significant money compared to your opponents at these other conferences. Is it worth it to stay in the Pac-12 when you may be getting half the TV revenue that the Big Ten's getting, that the SEC is getting? And that's a big deal when it comes to buying facilities or building facilities and all the other things that go into building a winning program. Is it enough just to make the playoffs if you're just going to lose every year in the first round? Like if I'm a Pac-12 team that's not getting the same resources as the Big Ten, Big 12, SEC, is it just good enough to just be invited to the playoff every year? Like, is that worth it to you for Oregon or Washington? Or do you want to actually make the playoffs and then also have the resources to go further in the playoffs? That's the question that they're going to have to ask.
No, I think you hit it spot on, Aaron, and it's something that I've been kind of wrestling with all day, and we're going to get to some of y'all's comments in the chat in a second here, but it's something I've been wrestling with all day, and even now when you were just talking, I feel like it was almost like the scales fell from my eyes, and like, I almost hate to say this, but the obvious path feels like needing to join one of the bigger conferences, right? Now, maybe there are actual logistical issues here that I'm not appreciating that would stop this from happening, and with new TV deals in the way, I get that there could be factors at play, but if we were to just take, in this perfect little experiment world, if Oregon wants to leave right now, they can just leave and join a conference, right? I think they would absolutely leave. And even Oregon's interesting because you may say, oh, well, they got Phil Knight. They don't need that. But Phil Knight can't keep pace, though, with that TV revenue, which is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So maybe they have some sort of built-in buffer zone, but even that would dissipate. And when you ask the question, okay, what's worth it? No, I think, look, money is it's unstoppable, right? Now you can use it to varying degrees of efficiency. And so some people do more with less or less with more, but if you pour enough money at something, generally, you're going to be able to create that gap, and you're going to see that over time. And yeah, you'll have the automatic bid from the Pac-12, but again, to your point here, what football are you playing every weekend? And are you playing in a conference where people are even watching? And if people aren't watching the game as much, and you're not making as much as you would in the other conference, and you're not even winning the playoff every year because only one team is going to be guaranteed that spot, maybe two get in out of the entire pack. No, it becomes one of those where if I'm Oregon and Washington, I'm like, this kind of feels a little bit like join up or get left behind sort of momentum right now. Now, maybe Kliavkoff, the commissioner, pulls some sort of rabbit from a hat, Hail Mary deal with Apple or something, which I can't really see. I can't really fathom. I mean, I think that like insiders and people that actually know about this stuff would already be maybe intimating that was going to happen. But no, like if this TV deal comes in, I guess that's what we actually need. What are the numbers going to end up being? If it comes in like much lower than the Big 12, then yes, Oregon and Washington and maybe even some other schools need to start having some conversations about, behind closed doors about maybe what those pathways look like.
And listen, adding San Diego State is not going to make that conference sexier to anyone for these TV deals, just to be honest. I love San Diego State. They got a brand new stadium. Makes sense from geography.
Everybody always says Jake says the same thing. Everybody always says they love San Diego State, and I realized I just nod, and I'm like, yeah, me too. But why? I actually don't know anything about San Diego State.
Because it's beautiful. I covered a lot of San Diego State
because San Diego rules. That's why.
Okay, there you go. Okay,
San Diego rules. Brand new stadium, great colors, awesome uniforms. They actually play some pretty good ball. They've been one of the better teams in the Mountain West for the past 5 or so years. So they could compete in the Pac-12. I think they would be fine, but I mean, it's the Pac-12. It's not like it's a super competitive conference anyway. So I want to go back to the streaming services deal, that because even if you do get a lifeline thrown out to you of, hey, Apple throws out some big deal, or maybe Netflix wants to get into live action. Maybe that's the one piece that they're missing, because Netflix is missing that. Netflix is missing live action compared to its competitors. Maybe they want to dip their toe into the water. Whatever it may be, is that still enough to still compete long-term with the big boys who are going to be live every weekend on ESPN, Fox, and CBS?
No, I mean, because those streaming deals,
because cutting cords is more and more people are cutting cords, but is that enough still to help you grow your program?
Yeah, it's a major risk. I agree. And there just might not be enough demand to drive the price up. All right, so we'll see what happens with the Pac-12. Again, the most fascinating part of all this to me is a couple of years ago, remember they had the alliance. And the Big Ten straight up Brutus Julius Caesar stabbed the Big 12 in the back. But then the thing is, the Pac-12 was stabbing too. I know we only talk about Brutus, but remember, the Big 12 was reaching out, and the Pac-12 was looking to poach teams. And now it's so funny that the Big 12 kind of got galvanized by the situation. They just had a team play for a national championship. They secured their big deal. They moved fast, replacing teams, said, see ya, Texas and Oklahoma. You can't win the conference anyway. And then they and now they're looking at a bleeding and dying Pac-12 and kind of saying, oh, how it's all turned around, huh? It's fascinating stuff, man. Let's get into some of the comments. Cody Dan says, the crazier part is that Aaron's teeth are wider than the AirPods. I know. I mean, it is insane. I'm flossing. I'm using mouthwash. I'm brushing with charcoal. What do I got to do, dude?
It's all about the toothbrush. You have to have the right toothbrush.
You're like a Sonicare.
Everybody gets in it. Okay, then you should be good then. Your teeth are wet. Shut up.
No, I know, but dude, not like yours, dude. Okay, other what do we have here? I actually really like this idea about dressing up as presidents and doing the president show. War Eagle from Rochester. We'll talk about Auburn in a little bit, Anthony. Hell yeah. I think we'll go to 4 super conferences soon. Maybe not soon, but it will. It does feel. Look,
I don't know. I feel like it's moving that direction.
No,
all
exactly.
it takes is 2 more teams. If Oregon and Washington just dart, what is the Pac-12 at that point? I mean, who would want to stick around at that point? They would have to dissolve. I mean, the rest of the teams would have to leave. I mean, if you go below 10 and 8, I mean, once you hit that, I think it's just it's at that point everyone looks around saying we got to get the hell out. So that's all it takes. And it can happen in the summer. I mean, yeah, but you had a Pac-8 with bigger brands. If you lose your bigger brands, you've already lost the 2 LA teams. If you lose Washington and Oregon, what's left? Utah, Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford's weird because Stanford feels pretty big though, and they are in a lot of sorts. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with them. Cody, where was this one? Oh, Cody Brunet says the SEC going to rework the deal before next year. Right now, the SEC is trying to have good faith negotiations with Disney about upping the TV deal, as they would add a 9th game and create some really exciting matchups. And so that perfectly segues into our draft today, because these are the very games that Greg Sankey will be pointing to and saying, see, look at this. Look at this here in my hand. This is why you have to pay me more money, even though we're already have a deal agreed to. And we'll see, man. I wonder how much of a negotiating mood Disney is in. Brum, you probably have some insight there. How realistic is it right before we start the draft? How realistic is it, though, that that Disney will will adequately bump up the contract to reflect the added value?
I think there has never been a time where these big conferences get less money than they ask for. So, if you're a premium TV sport, which is now at this point the NFL, the NBA, and SEC football, SEC and Big Ten football, you're probably getting what you want.
So, okay, so there you go. So maybe they will negotiate good faith. All right, Aaron. Top 10 SEC rivalries. It's Thursday. We do
Are we including Texas and Oklahoma in this?
Yes.
Texas, Oklahoma in this? Oh, absolutely. We are.
Yep.
We sure are.
Yep, I know.
Wow, that changes it up.
Even though, as we're going to see, dude, not a lot of SEC, and this is probably me being like this is like college football xenophobia, right? I'm too involved in my own LSU world, but I don't know that I saw a ton of sexy SEC East rivalries. It kept feeling like I kept coming back to West. So I'm looking for you to fill me in if I'm wrong on that. I mean, there's GeorgiaFlorida, but okay. I'm not crazy. All right, let's dive in. I got first pick.
You said it right. T-Bob. I'm proud of you. I finally brainwashed you. You said UGA versus Florida. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Now I have it written.
You said it
Damn
right.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, my first pick of the draft, top 10. Aaron, I think you're going to clown me, but I arrived here because I did an exercise that I was kind of shocked by. My first pick of the draft, give me the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss-Mississippi State. And you may be saying, whoa, what's going on here? There was value to be had, right? There's Texas and Oklahoma on there, and Florida, Georgia, and all the old South rivalry, GeorgiaAuburn. What? No. But I said here today, Aaron, I said, okay, I'm going to think back. What game do I actually have real memories from on this little list that I thought up here? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't really have any UGA. Don't really have too much Texas Oklahoma. I remember the hell out of Egg Bowls, dude. They're fascinating. They're this true like all out war that takes place where like kind of in the shadows of Mississippi and the swamps and the deltas when some people are watching but not everybody, but for the people in it it's like life and death, dude. And they're always neither team is ever like threatening for a national championship, right? So it becomes their own national championship, which kind of adds to the mystique and the intrigue and makes it such a big deal. It's very competitive. It's like 50-50 basically over the last 20 years. It constantly goes back and forth, gives you crazy moments like Elijah Moore pissing in the end zone that it ends up with Lane Kiffin being the head coach at Ole Miss. Remember Matt Luke? We had Matt Luke in this series going against like Dan Mullen, right? I think, or maybe it was Joe Moorhead. Either way, it doesn't matter. I love the whole cast and crew. I love all the characters. I love every season. Like if the Egg Bowl was a TV show, I would want to watch it like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I want to watch it the rest of my life. So give me the Egg Bowl. Number one in my SEC rivalry draft.
Definitely top 5. A little aggressive going number 1. Yeah. Good for you, though, stepping out of your comfort zone, going a little bit different there. All right, my number 1 is, I would say, the obvious choice and probably one of the best rivalries in all of college. What do you have, bro? What do we have, bro?
Say it, bro.
This is the worst take in the history of the show.
Me?
Yes.
Egg Bowl?
Not even close. Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
This is the worst take. This is the worst take in the history of the show.
No. It's just because it's just because you and your lizard producer brain, all you care about is heat. Okay. A long time ago, you left behind something called heart. Okay. You like heat. No. I like heart. There's not more heart on display than the Egg Bowl. What, you're going to say the Iron Bowl?
The only thing that Egg Bowl has, the only thing that it has is the fact that it's not on Saturday. It's on a Thursday or Friday. That adds a little bit more juice to it. I like that. That's the one.
Yeah, cool Thanksgiving, dude. It's awesome. And it's called the Egg Bowl, which is an absurd name for a big football game that everybody cares about. Did you win the Egg Bowl? You
picked a hipster band to be the number 1 song of all time. That's what you did.
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah. A little bit, actually. Okay, that's actually – now, Brum, I will say that is a fair assessment. I did not agree. I still think that your brain is corrupt, but I guess, yeah.
I never pushed back on my producer lizard brain comments. I never pushed back even slightly. But my take still stands.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, chat also is just roasting me right now. So never mind.
As they should. Please stay. I promise it will get better.
No, it's that bad? Now I've ran people out of the show or people turn off the pod? Damn it.
So.
Actually, the numbers are going up, but it does not make your take any better.
Yes. Direct reinforcement, baby. Correlation does equal causation. Egg Bowl number 1. What you got, Aaron?
All right. Here we go. The real number 1 rivalry in the SEC has to be the Iron Bowl. Alabama versus Auburn. You want to talk about memories? I got some great memories watching this football game. It's a state where there's no professional sports. All they care about is hating on each other 24/7, 365. That's all they talk about. And now both teams are actually pretty damn good in basketball, which makes it even more exciting because those games are pretty sweet as well. But where we are mostly football here, so we will focus on football. It is not only the best rivalry in the SEC, it is the best rivalry in all of college football. It's better than Ohio State Notre Dame. It's better than
Ohio State Michigan.
Texas,
Wait, what? Who the hell thought you were going to say Ohio State Notre Dame? What?
That's what I meant. It's definitely better than Ohio State Notre Dame. Better than Ohio State Michigan. Make sure we edit that in case we make a clip. The fact that I would just love to be a part of this, like in another life, because I do love being a Georgia Bulldog, to know that these fan bases hate each other so much all year long, and they look forward to this one day to then be able to brag for 364 more days about who's the better football team, who's the better university. There's nothing better than it. And like I said, the fact that there's no professional sports makes a focus on these two teams, the talk of the entire state. And number one, baby. Freaking one.
Yeah. So, okay. Also, by the way, no pro sports applies to the Egg Bowl as well. Just saying. But no, look, I get it. Yes. And honestly, I think I agree with Cody Brunet. The kick six probably makes it one alone. Like, I will never forget where I was when the kick six happened. I was at my mom's in California. I was making a root beer ham, actually, had in the oven, had an apron on and everything, when I started laughing like a madman as I watched Alabama's hopes crumble before them after little Nicky begged to get one more second left on the clock. Still makes me happy to this day.
Little Nicky. All right, my second choice, number 3 for top rivalries in the SEC, goes to the world's largest cocktail party, Georgia versus Florida. The only neutral site game in the SEC right now. Oklahoma, Texas will be also a neutral site game when they do come, but they're not in it just yet. But being a part of this,
not if Kirby has his way, though, dude. Kirby wants to get rid of it.
I know. Not if Kirby wants to get rid of it, but I will continue to petition why it needs to be in Jacksonville. To me, it's a major selling point, honestly. Like, playing in the Iron Bowl is a selling point for those kids when they get recruited. For me, knowing that I got to play in a stadium that was going to be 50-50, neutral site, energy the entire game. I mean, as soon as you drive over the bridge, so we're coming into the stadium. I remember my first time driving over the bridge. As soon as you get the bridge and you see the stadium, and then bam, all of a sudden you see all these flags everywhere. Georgia flags, Florida flags. It is a shit show. So much drinking, so many people eating gators. It is a beautiful sight to see. And then you get in the stadium and it's bam, right down the middle, red and black, blue and orange. And really the best part of the entire rivalry, and lucky for me, I was on this side 3 out of 4 times, is when your team is winning in the fourth quarter and the game's pretty much over and half the stadium disappears. And then all of a sudden you see all the people in the second level, like the red and black people, they go down the stairs and they start taking over the other side of the stadium. So then the whole bottom pole turns into red and black. There's no better feeling than knowing that you essentially kicked half the stadium out of the building, and then your fans essentially.
That's really weird. That's something I can't even. That's something I've never even like. That's a concept of affecting a crowd at a game that I've never even considered, because I've never played in a neutral site game where it really is so split down the middle. So I never I know the feeling of going like an opponent's stadium and shutting that down, and that is great. But to literally it's almost like you did some sort of like arcane spell and you just transformed all of their fans into your own pure football skill. Wow, that's really cool, dude. All right. Well, hey, look, I feel great about my strategy. Are you kidding me? I drafted Egg Bowl number 1, and now I get Oklahoma, Texas. What? Yeah, I picked 4. Let's go, dude. Okay, I'm in. I thought you were going Iron Bowl, OU, Texas, but I forgot you little.
I'm not going to let you take Georgia. I wasn't going to let you take Georgia, Florida, and butcher the name on this show and say Florida, Georgia.
That's true. So I would have butchered it, and I would have had nothing interesting to say on it.
No, I figured it'd be better if I came from my voice.
So MJ Reynolds says, it's got to be OU Texas. It's insane. So many legendary performances. Texas OU field is split down the middle, 50-50. The game is played in Dallas. Can't get more legendary than that. It's also the state fair every year, right? I mean, look, I agree. Texas, Oklahoma is, especially from a brand standpoint, it is Norman Rockwell-esque when you're thinking about like classic Americana college football, right? It's a bit like how I feel about Ohio State, Michigan. There's just something that feels very heartwarming about. I mean, the game's been played a ton. What are they up to now? So Texas leads the series 63-50 with 5 ties. So it's nearly been played 120 times. First game taking place in 1900 on the dot. That's pretty sick. I would say the only thing that's maybe knocking it a bit, Oklahoma's kind of been dominating it as of late. They have been some close, exciting games for the most part, but Texas going 49-0 last year did maybe spice things back up a bit. So I'm actually, Aaron, like I've always watched this from afar. I am actually very excited for this to now be in the SEC, right? And this is a prime example of why. Yep. I mean, this is going to be a noon kickoff that will do primetime night numbers. And it's why Disney is going to renegotiate, and it's why they brought them here in the first place. So I can't wait to start seeing this more firsthand. Okay, so give me Oklahoma, Texas there. Anything to add on the I always want to say Red River Shootout, but it's the Red River Rivalry now?
Yes, Red River Rivalry, which is a bit of a tongue twister.
Why would we? Who am I, Yosemite Sam? Aaron, what do you think about a little Texas-Oklahoma, dude?
I think that's if I didn't go to Georgia, I probably would have picked that at 3. So I'm with you. Actually, no, that should have been probably 2 because your stupid Egg Bowl at 1 makes no sense.
No. The Egg Bowl is
like 5 or
the Egg
6.
Bowl is the largest Art-Thou cocktail party.
I think we can both agree Iron Bowl should be 1, Texas Oklahoma should be 2.
No, get the fuck out of here. I don't agree at all.
Yeah.
I do not co-sign that. Okay, so my next pick after that.
Wait, big news, boys. Was the sub toasted? Was it toasted? It was toasted.
Oh my God. For those that don't know, Aaron, under penalty of domestic abuse, has told his wife if she does not toast his subs, that it will be bad for her. So we're all very happy, Aaron, that Sharon, like the angel that she is, has brought you a toasted pub sub. Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie. That crunch sold me. Like that was a Foley movie-esque level of crunch when you just bit that sub right now. I am so freaking hungry all of a sudden. Wow. Where do I go next? Okay, I'm not going to go. I'm going to go with something that I know then. And I don't even know if it's actually going to make it through, which is a bit of a bummer. It's not necessarily the most historic rival, and it's definitely not been the most competitive, but at least not over time. But I'll take LSU Alabama, man. Since about 2007, right? Since Nick Saban showed back up at Alabama, there was a solid 5-6 year stretch where they were kind of vying for power, right? Like a lot of times out of the West, at least LSU was the only one that could challenge Alabama. And a lot of times it was kind of split 50-50. Then you went through the bad years, but now you punch back. There was the epic Joe Burrow Tua game that had like 1 million NFL players in it. This last year, the West is decided on a 2-point conversion, last play in Tiger Stadium. It's a game that, I mean, CBS, it took like Alabama winning like 8 times in a row before CBS was finally like, okay, we're not going to use our lone primetime night slot on that game anymore because we just got to accept that maybe times have moved on. And then it immediately kind of reversed, right? So, yeah, I would love to see LSU Alabama continue, even though I think there's a better pick here. But I left it for you, Aaron, because you can speak to it more. But as far as my memories with LSU Alabama go, I mean, that was like the team my whole college, right? Where if you won, you were going to win the West and do what you wanted to do. If they did, I'll never forget playing in the game of the century in 2011, which was like so hyped up. It felt just so freaking massive to win that game in Tuscaloosa. Is probably one of the greatest memories I have in playing football, and to hear that stadium go silent on that night, whew, it gives you goosebumps, dude. They missed so many field goals. But then, we got.
I will say this is going to be the most competitive game in the SEC for the next 5 years until Saban retires. This will be the best game on the schedule until Saban retires. 2 of the best coaches, I would say 2 of the top 3 coaches in America, duking it out, some of the best talent on the football field. This game is going to be badass for the next until Saban, whenever Saban decides to hang it up. So enjoy it. This is going to be pretty
Well, I don't
awesome.
know. I don't know that it's going to last. There's a lot of talk that it's not going to be one of the ones because, ironically, LSU A&M is going to happen, and I love LSU A&M, but I really had a moment just now as I'm looking at it. And obviously, look, I want you to talk about. I guess I could have picked it had you talk about it, but like UGA Auburn, I would say is actually above these. But yeah, I think LSU Alabama may get left by the wayside, dude, because Alabama has to play Auburn and they have to play Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Damn,
we'll see.
Sucks.
We'll see. We'll see.
That's
you don't know.
That's a hell of a game.
That's what I'm saying. The TV gods, Mickey's probably like, "Oh, you think you're going to avoid it? I don't think so, T-Bob."
I mean, it is hard not to want to put Brian Kelly versus Nick Saban. I mean, look at the first go. The first go was an overtime game that you had to go for 2 to win it.
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome,
come on. It's like that every damn year.
Okay, what you got? So I went Red River and LSU Bama.
Yep. You know where I'm going on this one. I'm going to the South, oldest, deepest, biggest, juiciest, enormousness rivalry that there is. Georgia versus Auburn, baby. I had no ill will towards Auburn. And I hate to make this about me, but I'm going to make this about me. I had no ill will towards Auburn. I knew nothing about this rivalry when I got to Georgia. But the first game I played at Auburn my freshman year, I learned real fast about how much each of these fan bases hate each other, about how much each of these teams hate each other. And after that game, I had no love towards the Auburn Tigers. Still to this day, I've called 2 games in Auburn as an announcer. And every time I still get like booed out of the stadium, even as an announcer.
No way. Hell yes.
Why is Aaron calling our game? And then I look on the Jumbotron and every like third down, it's like, get loud, get noisy. And it's me getting depleted. I'm like, what a bunch of assholes. It's been like 10 years. And they're still pulling out clips of me getting destroyed versus Lee Ford.
Are you having like PTSD flashbacks in the booth
I am having
watching
PTSD
yourself?
2 of my biggest losses in my career were dealt by Auburn, so I just don't have a lot of love towards the Tigers there. Man, it's a special game though. I will say that there is so much energy, whether you're in Athens or you're there in Auburn. Like I said, there is just so much anger for both teams. It's always someone's pissed off, someone's trying to kill someone, and I got to experience it 4 times. And I got 8 stitches, a broken sternum, neck whiplash, spray knee to show for what this rivalry really is all about.
Yeah. Wait, what? That's not just one game though. That's all the games, but still.
No, that was one game. That was one game. That was my freshman year. Freshman year, I had 8 stitches. Brum, if you can pull up the pictures of there's
literally so much Aaron Murray, Georgia, Auburn content. I don't know where to go.
No, he was literally.
So I tried. So you have the Nick Fairley video. You obviously have the reacts after the prayer of Jordan Hare, which are brutal. I'm currently reading an article about fans being mad about you calling the Auburn Georgia game, which is hilarious.
Yeah. I had the bloody jersey picture is awesome.
Yeah, that's great too.
That's a great
jersey picture, dude. Pull that up, dude. That's insane, dude.
The referee looked at me and he goes, "Aaron, I need you to change your jersey." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "Because it's covered with blood." I'm like, "Oh, this was the first series of the game." And I'm bleeding everywhere. Everyone in the huddle is like staring at me like, "Oh God." And so that stopped.
Football is so stupid. You're just bleeding everywhere. You have a cracked sternum. You're like, Coach.
I told you the Ben Jones story is still the best though. The Ben Jones story is still the best. When Ben came in the huddle and my sternum's broken, I can't feel the left side of my body. It's numb. Everything on the left side's numb. I can barely call a play. It's in the first quarter. Can barely call a play. And Ben Jones hands me 3 dreadlocks that he ripped off the middle linebacker's head. And he goes, "Here you go." I'm like, "Ben, what do you want me? I have 20 seconds to call up." I'm like, "What do you want me to do with these?" And he sticks them in his pants, plays the rest of the game with the dreads in his pants, and then he attaches it to his ceiling fan after the game back in Athens. That's when you know your offensive line loves you, when they're ripping dreadlocks out of people's head. Shout out Ben Jones.
There's so much good to unpack there. I'm crying, laughing. The idea that you got that fucked up in the first quarter, they were still like, I could do it, coach, is great.
Dude, I have never contemplated quitting football so much in my life than that first quarter. I'm like, this shit sucks.
It's such a barbarian sport, too. That your O-lineman, your protector, your honor guard's like,
I know.
I got you.
Dude,
I got you.
Dean said in the chat, the sternum protects your heart. Like they told me after the game, like that's an injury. Usually seen car accidents, not football games, really rare. I had to sleep sitting up for 3 weeks. I couldn't lay down because it felt like my chest was going to rip open.
Whew. Oh man.
I'm gonna have to find the picture. There's a picture of me the next day. I had a neck brace on. I had something like covering my stitches. I also had an arm sling, and I was limping because I had a sprained left knee.
They sound like, so you basically got shot. This is like a medieval battle, right? You got shot with like multiple arrows. You got cuts all over you, and Ben brings you like a string of ears that he cut off. Like, yeah, he brings your head. And he's like plops it on your lap. Like, feel better. I love you, dude. Oh my God, dude! Wow. Okay, UGA Auburn. Well, that's just.
You have one more pick, Aaron.
How long did you play that game? Did you play the whole game?
I played.
Surely not.
I played the whole game until Nick Fairley hit me in the knee, and that kind of knocked me out. The late knee hit fucked me up. That was
Thank God. It's like putting a poor
which then turned into a full out fight on the field. And then my dumbass brother who played baseball was on the team. Everyone's running on the field to fight with helmets on, and then you see my brother running on the field without a helmet on. I'm like, Josh, what are you doing?
Hell yeah. That is also like, yeah, that's classic football mistake number one. Never start a fight with that helmet on. It's so stupid.
No, never gonna work. Never. All right. Okay, my next pick.
Wow. Whew.
I'm gonna go to Tennessee, Alabama. I had to give one more. I had to give some East love. There's just not, like you said, not a lot of great East rivalries, or at least East is involved in some way or the other, besides like Georgia, obviously. Tennessee versus Alabama. It's been very lopsided for the past 2 decades. So good to see them back on top. And shout out to the basketball team. That was a big win last night for the number 1 team in America. Alabama. Say it right now. Tennessee owns Alabama in sports.
Yeah,
as of
Alabama. Hey, how about this? Could it be my number 1? 19 turnovers, only led once. First game being ranked number 1 in 20 years. I mean, absolute choke job by Nate Oates. More like Nate chokes, okay? Because he sucks. I love the fact that Tennessee got Alabama not once, but twice. Net 92. We are drafting the best SEC rivalries right now. All right. Yeah. Okay. So look, that's a weird pick, Aaron, a little bit, because it's actually been awful. Like since the block now. By who was the big guy?
Terrence Cody.
Yeah. I played against Terrence Cody when I was like 285.
A big dude.
He was huge. And he kept talking about how big he was the whole time. And I was kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's kind of what you're known
girlfriend.
For. Yeah. He's like, I was a big dude. I'm like, okay. I mean, obviously you're way bigger than I am, dude. Congrats. But yeah, when Cody blocked that field goal until this year, that series kind of sucked. So I hope that you end up being proven right with this. And I think they're going to, I think they're going to keep it. So we'll see. All right, so Brum, how many do I have now? I have 2 to finish this.
We are an 8 now. You have 8 and 9, and Aaron has 10.
Okay. You start to do this. You start to realize, like, some of these games, it's like you can start to reach a little bit. I'm gonna go with one that y'all don't really care about, but I think, or not. I shouldn't say that y'all don't care about. That I don't think people care about. Like, I don't think Chad or Brum's probably gonna hate it as well. But I'm going to go Arkansas and Texas A&M. This is another neutral site game, Aaron, right? You're right. I mean, they've been playing it in Jerry World, right?
Has that always been a neutral site game?
So if you're hearing the hesitance in my voice, it's because I know this series has a way deeper history than I've given them credit for. And they used to play all the time back in the Southwest days, and it was kind of sparingly until now. I feel like it's been every year the last few years, but it's always been fantastic games, very close games. And these are two fan bases that you don't think about as often. I guess this is probably just a product of my SEC Westness caring about this game, but it's another one of those 50-50s. Give me Arkansas A&M. I'm just rambling. I don't have that much interesting shit to say about this game, but I do like it. For my final pick, give me Texas A&M. A rivalry that hasn't been played in a long time and one that needs to be played. I know that Texas A&M especially is going to try to avoid playing this game. But as we said, right, the TV gods dictate what gets played, right? We have to put together the best matchups. As Andy Staples said, why in the world would you make this current SEC and not schedule Texas A&M? So I think they need to make that needs to be one of their permanents in this new schedule.
All right, I'm a little bit torn on this last one. You didn't do LSU Florida at all, did you? You didn't pick LSU.
No, I love LSU Florida, and actually, I have way more. I didn't want to go like multiple LSUs because I appreciate that people don't really care about LSU Florida like LSU and Florida care about LSU Florida. Like that's very near and dear to my heart. If I was just drafting from heart, I would have done that over Arkansas A&M easily. But I am trying to spread the wealth a little bit.
All right, so I'm not going to pick that one. I'm torn between Arkansas versus Missouri because there's a trophy involved, and I always like that for the battle line rivalry. And then Florida versus Tennessee. I kind of really like that because I always I see because that's to me that's always like a 3:30 game and it's usually a checkered stadium in Tennessee, and I don't know, there's something about that game that's exciting, but I'll go with the battle line. There's a trophy. There's a trophy involved.
Isn't it
trophy involved? I kind of like.
Isn't it kind of like a manufactured trophy a little bit, though? I mean, wasn't it just made like a?
Not to quote Thor, but all trophies are manufactured.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Yeah.
All right. I feel like if we're just being honest, I feel like we kind of lost our way at the end of this list a little bit. Are you feeling that too?
The end of the list kind of gets it's just not great after 6 or 7.
Because then it just boils down to what you personally love, right? Because I love LSU Florida. I love LSU Texas A&M. The 7 overtime game with Joe Burrow, Jimbo Fisher's nephew getting punched by Kevin Polk. What a sentence.
I think the top 7 in some order have to be the top 7. Just to recap: Egg Bowl, Iron Bowl, Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma, Texas, LSU, Bama, UGA, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama as your number 7, and then the last 3 is kind of dealer's choice.
So this goes back to the question. Now that we're at the end of this, do you feel like there's enough rivalries? Because me and Jacob have been having a debate. When you do the 9 games, do you go 1 permanent and rotate everybody, or 3 permanents? And he's been kind of doing devil's advocate for the 1 permanent thing. But are there enough rivalries to?
What is the argument for 1 permanent?
There's enough for the top teams. There's enough for the top teams. It's just like
UGA is the one. UGA and Auburn are the schools. Because they both have 2 that you feel like need.
Well, Alabama has 2.
I think we're kind of overrating Alabama Tennessee a little bit. I like it on this list, and I feel you. I maybe not if it gets exciting. But I'm talking about have to have. You have to have the Iron Bowl. You have to have the South Soldiers rivalry, and you have to have the cocktail party. So really, Georgia and Auburn there.
Did you do 2 and 7? Do you have to do? Is there a way to do 2 and 7?
It gets real. You need the even number for the rotating. It gets a
yeah. Okay. I think so the only argument against the 3 permanents would be that somebody's going to get screwed, right? And that if you do 1 and 8 and rotate everybody, then that there's no bitching about competitive balance.
I will be honest. If Georgia Auburn didn't happen, I don't think either fan base would lose their shit about it. I don't.
All right, we now have the second worst take in the history of the show.
What?
I just could not disagree more.
No, I think in 4 or 5 years, people are like, okay, whatever. It has not been that exciting of a rivalry for the past decade plus. I mean, it has.
Let's do a little Winsipedia here. By the way, Winsipedia, y'all, if y'all like to look up rivalry stuff, type in your rivalry and type in Winsipedia, and it's just like a really great website for this kind of stuff.
You have to remember, Aaron, like the average age of a college football consumer is like 56.
Bro, Aaron, I can't support this. The game was first played in 1892. Okay, plastic was invented in 1905. This game existed before.
Is it enough? Is it enough? Is it enough to keep a 3-6 because of just one rivalry? Because I'm with you. Like Alabama, Tennessee, maybe the same way.
So I think so because I love the idea. Maybe just I've been trained like this in the NFL or something, like, watching all football growing up or the West. Like, I like the idea of knowing, okay, these 3 teams I'm going to square up with every year, right? So, like, I have added blood, like narrative, like I have more juice there. Whereas if it's just this constant rotation, it's great. You get to play everyone, and you're still going to play everyone in the 3-6, right? But like I don't care. I think you can achieve close enough competitive balance. And still give each team 3 kind of other fan bases to learn to hate and to latch onto. I mean, bro, the world's oldest rivalry now, or the South's oldest rivalry, how many's Georgia won in a row? 6. The series is 63-56. So previous to this win streak, the series was literally 57-50 after like 112 of these things or 13 of these things. Oh, sorry, yeah, 57-56. So. Yeah. You can't get rid of this. I just can't get there. I just can't support it. And again, I have no real memories of even watching the games that much. I just can't. I can't. And I feel you. Georgia's waxing that ass lately, so it's gotta. Yeah, that's got to change.
It is very much an Alabama-Tennessee feel going on right now. Is the problem?
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That is true. What are we done? I don't really know. We just
we are done.
I think we're done.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we are done. I don't know why I said either.
I have time to eat my nice, crunchy, juicy.
Can you take a bite in the mic? Can you take a bite right next to the mic?
Glorious.
Oh, no way, dude. No way, boys.
Can we just rank? Can we do a quick ranking of best sub places? I go first. Publix is 1.
I don't have any real sub allegiance anymore. I mean, I really don't like Subway anymore.
No, I love Quiznos.
Jimmy John's fine. You're a big Toasty boy. There's no Quiznos here anymore. We got the subs. Quiznos.
Don't do the commercial.
Hit the commercial, bro, you son of a bitch.
You broke me the last time we do it, so we can't do the commercial anymore. It's legitimately too funny.
It's so good.
Is this true? Andy J says Kentucky fans killed Smokey in the 90s with meth. If that's true, Tennessee, Kentucky probably deserves a spot on this list. Maybe just go ahead and throw it on the bottom there. All right. Hey, love y'all, everybody in the chat. Again, we are out on Monday as it is President's Day. Ooh, maybe I'll go to the Hall of Presidents on President's Day. That'd be kind of fun. I'll be at Disney, but we will record something on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm driving, so I don't know about that. And then Thursday, I'll be back, and we'll be snapping back. Really do love everybody who hangs out with us every day on the show. If you like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. If you rate it and review it wherever you listen to podcasts, that really helps us. Huge thank you, man. We love doing this. As always, a massive thank you to the entire Snaps team: Paul Farron, Pat Gunner, Ryan Brumley, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia, and thank you to FanDuel. Promo code SNAPS. If you sign up, you get great sign-up deals. And as always, thank you to Papa Colin. We'll see y'all later. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, my friends.